When the rainy season comes, Priya's family can enjoy delicious food to their heart's content. Frogs appear almost overnight in the fields and woods, with tender springy meat that is the whole family's favorite. Every year in mid-June, Nepal enters the rainy season. With no proper irrigation system, farmers have to work in the fields even in the rain at this time of year. But Priya's husband has gone away to work, leaving the family short of labor. To keep up with planting, she takes all her children along, even though they are small. Their numbers help and the farming work does not fall behind. Priya's eldest daughter, in particular, is sensible and hardworking. At only 8 years old, she is already worth half an adult worker. The steady drizzle shrouds the entire mountainside in mist. Mountain villagers have long learned to live with the damp and benefit from it. Frogs are nature's gift during the rainy season. After a day of hard work, Priya decides to cook the children's favorite frog meat as a treat. Preparing frog meat is simple. Just clean out the internal organs, then peel the skin and cut into pieces. While Priya prepares the frogs, the children keep busy. They sit together cleaning mushrooms to go with the frog meat. These mushrooms were also just dug from the woods. Fresh ingredients need only the simplest cooking. Priya heats some lard in a pan, and once it melts, she adds the frog meat directly. Frog meat cooks quickly, so a quick stir fry is enough to serve. This time, however, Priya is making a stew, so she adds some water to the pan. While waiting for the frog meat to simmer until tender, Priya puts garlic, chili peppers, and some spices into a mortar and grinds them into a paste to season the frog meat and mushrooms later. Then Priya gets a new pan, adds more lard, and when the oil is hot, she stir fries half the paste. Once the spices release their rich aroma in the hot oil, Priya adds the mushrooms. A quick stir later, the mushrooms are ready. The family is extremely hungry, so Priya quickly serves the rice. Then the whole family eats heartily. The next day is still overcast with continuous drizzle. Priya gets up early to take her eldest daughter to school. She had given her daughter a day off yesterday for farm work, but today she must go to class. After all, education is more important than farming, but the family is poor and has no proper raincoat. Priya searches and picks out the nicest looking rain cover made from a stitched woven bag and gives it to her daughter. She watches her walk through the mountain paths to school.
How extreme is the Inuit diet? This piece of dark, unappetizing polar bear meat is actually an Inuit delicacy. No oil, no salt, and it's even a bit bloody. An Inuit girl just shoves it right into her mouth. These raw meat-eating Inuits live primarily in Greenland today. Nearly 60,000 Inuit people call the island home. While their houses might look nice, modern Inuits are just like us. They have to work non-stop to pay the mortgage. To prevent overhunting that could drive walruses and seals to extinction, the local government has significantly restricted their hunting grounds. While local supermarkets offer Inuits all sorts of fruits and vegetables, the price of beef at 500 grams for a high price makes it unaffordable. It forces them to look for other means to get by. You have to understand, Arctic winters are brutally cold and long. Temperatures can stay as low as 73 degrees Celsius, 58 degrees Celsius. And once a blizzard hits, everything can be frozen over for up to 10 months. To stockpile enough food for the coming harsh weather, old Boo has to fire up his snowmobile and head to the designated hunting area in the bitter cold. After hours of waiting, Boo finally spots a seal's breathing hole. He crouches down and sniffs it, confirming the seal hasn't gone far. So Boo carefully raises his rifle, aims, and fires. A few shots later, a hefty seal meets its end. Boo tries to hook the seal out of the ice hole, but this one's just too big. It gets stuck. He has no choice but to get an ice chisel, and with his neighbor widen the hole. After a lot of effort, they finally drag the 500-pound seal onto the ice. Boo immediately starts butchering it right there. A complete seal pelt can fetch up to $80, helping him pay a tiny fraction of his mortgage. Seal meat is packed with vitamins. Boo eats it raw. This is why Inuits, who rarely eat vegetables, don't suffer from scurvy. The only downside is, this seal is a bit small, so it won't sell for much. After talking with other hunters, Boo decides to move to a new spot. Today, his goal is 100 large seals. Snowmobiles are way quicker than traditional dog sleds. In no time, the hunters reach a dangerous area. Polar bears are common here, but for food, but can't afford to worry. He starts tracking fresh bear prints. Sure enough, a full-grown polar bear is foraging nearby, completely unaware of the danger. Sensing an intruder in her territory, this mother bear has zero street smarts. She actually saunters right up to Boo, planning a sneak attack. But Boo isn't giving her a chance. He hits the snowmobile horn with one hand and pulls out his great equalizer with the other. The bear instantly panics and runs. Boo immediately revs up and chases after her. When he catches up, he sees she's retrieved 2 cubs from an ice den. In the food-scarce Arctic, animals going without food is common. The cubs, thinking mom brought food, huddle close. Seeing this, Boo decides against killing her. Plus, a blizzard suddenly rolls in, forcing the hunters to head back. At night, the Arctic temperature plummets to 70 degrees, 57 degrees. That same clueless mother bear, following the human scent, finds her way to the Inuit settlement. Inside, Boo's wife, Nayla, is sharpening her knife, getting ready to process the seal skin from today's hunt. She expertly scrapes off the fat and fur with an ulu knife. This prepares the skin for use. Then Boo's 80-year-old mother stitches the hide into a pair of waterproof warm seal skin boots. A pair of boots like this might sell for a little over $10 locally, but against the huge mortgage, it's a drop in the bucket. That's why Boo's family works late into the night, trying to earn a bit of cash to pay the bills. Outside, that oblivious mother bear is still hanging around, digging through Boo's winter food stash in the snow. Finding some salmon, she starts eating without a care. This act of defiance finally pushes Boo over the edge. He jumps on his snowmobile to chase her off. The bear bolts in a panic. All her earlier bravado is gone, as she flees in a clumsy scramble. Polar bears are fierce, so Boo doesn't get too close. He just follows at a steady pace, keeping her scared and running. In her panic, the bear falls into a massive ice crevasse. Boo calls the other hunters for help, and they come armed. You can guess what happens next. Soon the polar night arrives. Due to Earth's magnetic field, the northern lights create a dreamlike scene, but the local Inuits don't care for the view. Polar night means hunting is even harder. To avoid starvation, Boo and his son take the dog sled, hundreds of miles to remote, shallow waters. The area is deserted, with no one to enforce rules. Night finds father and son enduring a tough night in an igloo. The Arctic sky is filled with stars, and the aurora dances, hinting at good weather tomorrow. Sure enough, when Xiaobu checks their trap the next morning, he's thrilled to find a huge Greenland shark's tail, tangled securely in the rope. Father and son pull together, trying to haul the shark onto the ice. But the problem is, this adult Greenland shark is just too massive. Its tail fin gets stuck in the hole, and it's thrashing wildly under the ice. They frantically widen the opening. Luckily, the shark is exhausted from the night-long struggle, but seizes the chance to pull its head out. But with just the two of them, they can't get the whole thing out, but ties the rope to the dog sled team. With dozens of dogs helping, they finally drag the giant catch onto the ice. At 70 feet, 50 sensitivity, anything lifeless freezes instantly. Boo has to quickly process this 1,000-plus pound Greenland shark. With this shark, they're set for food for the next month, but Greenland sharks excrete through their skin, and their meat can be toxic. Buck carefully cuts a piece of the translucent flesh and throws it to the sled dogs. If the dogs are fine, the Inuits can eat it raw. If a dog gets sick or dies, the meat must be fermented first. Besides sharks, Inuits also hunt walruses. But walrus meat is sour and rank, not very tasty. They're mainly after the long tusks. Is the best time to hunt them. Boo takes aim at a pair and fires. One shot, then another. The walruses don't even know what hit them. Boo removes the valuable tusks for later use. The meat gets buried and left to ferment for 3 months, turning into a potent delicacy called kiviak. Its smell is famously awful, even worse than fermented seabird. The walrus tusks are carved into models of Arctic animals and sold in shops, bringing in a bit of cash for the mortgage. This is the reality for modern Inuits. They can still live off the land, though the lack of cash is a constant pressure. But compared to the old days in an igloo, life for Boo's family is much better now.
Damo took out the last of the beef jerky he had at home. He'd been busy farming lately and hadn't had beef in ages. There was no point in keeping what was left, so Damo decided to eat it all. After cutting the beef jerky into small pieces with a sickle, Damo poured some hot water over it to soak it. Then he heated oil in a wok, squeezed the water out of the soaked beef jerky, and tossed it into the wok. After giving them a quick stir with a spoon, Dharma took out various spices to season the dish. 1 spoonful of turmeric powder, 1 spoonful of chili powder, 1 spoonful of masala, and 2 spoonfuls of salt. He added everything to the pan and stirred it all together. After putting the spices back in their place, Dharma added some hot water to the pot, then covered it and brought it to a boil over high heat. The eldest daughter didn't go out today. She stayed home to look after her little sister. Seeing that her father's dish was nearly done, she began scooping out flour and sifting it. After sifting the flour, the eldest daughter started adding water to the bowl to knead the dough. She added a little water and kneaded it, then added a bit more water and continued kneading. Soon, she had kneaded the flour into a smooth dough. Once the dough was ready, Damo took the pot of vegetables off the fire and sat to one side. The eldest daughter sat by the fire and began making flatbreads. She poured a little oil into her hands and drizzled it over the dough. Next, she pinched off a piece of dough, held it in her hands, and patted it back and forth. After flattening the dough into a thin pancake, she placed it in a cast iron skillet to dry fry. Once one side was cooked, she flipped it over. When the flatbread was golden brown on both sides, she removed it and placed it by the hearth for a second round of baking, allowing the bread to puff up slightly and develop charred spots on the surface. This flatbread has a rich, nutty wheat aroma and is chewy and resilient. With a crispy crust and a soft interior, it is extremely filling. It is the staple food of Nepalese households, found everywhere from the mountains to the plains, and is even more widespread than rice. By the time all the flatbreads were finished, daylight had fully broken. The eldest daughter extinguished the fire, and the family members who had been working outside began returning home one by one. The family gathered around, ready to enjoy breakfast. Whole wheat flatbreads paired with beef curry. This is a typical Nepalese meal. Nepalese people don't use utensils. They tear the flatbread into small pieces with their hands. Then they dip them into the beef curry broth to eat. Since the whole wheat flatbreads are almost flavorless, pairing them with other side dishes brings out the natural wheat aroma of the bread. Though this meal is very simple, everyone eats with great enjoyment, especially after working all morning. The flatbreads in their hands seem to taste even more delicious.